order, and we'll move down to Section 2, approval of the agenda. 2.1, changes to agenda and approval of agenda. And we do have some changes on the consent agenda. Added item 8.34, memorandum of understanding between Okaloosa County School Board and Okaloosa Education staff professionals for a part-time only pay rate of $17 per hour option for bus drivers hired between July 27, 2021 and June 30th, 2022. And then added item 8.35, memorandum of understanding between Okaloosa Education staff professionals and the Okaloosa County School District to approve an emergency exception allowing Okaloosa County School District employees with a valid CDL license the ability to drive bus routes on an emergency basis. With those changes, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Move it.
Dr. White makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Second, Dr. Kelly. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. So we'll move to Section 3. We have no recognitions. Section 4, we have no visitors. And we are at Section 5, administrative personnel appointments. And before we get started on that, I do have to remind that 6:15, we do have public hearing. We have 13 items for public hearing, so when we get to that point, we'll find a stopping point and go to directly into public hearing there. So 5.1, the appointment of specialists, digital media and communications management information systems. Mr. Chambers?
Thank you, Mr. Bright and School Board. I bring to you Miss Hillary Demers. Hillary Demers was born and raised in Fort Walton Beach and is a proud product of the Okaloosa County School District. She attended Combs New Heights, Longwood Elementary, Meigs Middle School, and graduated from Choctaw High School. At Florida State University, Ms. Demers became an active participant in Seminole Productions, the school's in-house production studio, and was accepted into the prestigious media production program, graduating with a Bachelor of Arts degree in communications. After turning down what she thought was her dream job at ESPN, she accepted a part-time position at Choctaw as a media specialist, teaching WBGI, the program that started it all. This opened the door to a number of opportunities as she advanced her teaching career, eventually finding her full-time home at her alma mater, adding digital design to her schedule. Other courses she has taught includes marketing, ITV, graphic arts and design, social media, art, creative photography, and yearbook. She coached volleyball for 5 years and has sponsored multiple clubs, has been Choctaw's social media manager for 7 years, and was named Choctaw's Teacher of the Year in 2018. Ms. Demers has 2 master's degrees in education from the University of West Florida. Her first is in instructional design and technology, and her second is in educational leadership. Mr. Demers looks forward to advancing the Okaloosa County School District's communication efforts and showcasing the amazing things students, staff, and administrators are doing. Mr. Demers' husband, Dylan, is retired from the Air Force. Their son, Cooper, is 21 months old and is in for a surprise when his baby sister arrives at the end of September. Miss Hillary Demers.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chambers. And with that, I need a motion to approve the appointment of a specialist, digital media and communication management information systems, Ms. Hillary Demers, as recommended by the superintendent for approval. Do I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion gladly.
Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, Dr. White. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And the motion carries 4-0. Congratulations, Ms. Demers.
I'm very excited to be here this evening. Thank you, Mr. Chambers and members of the board, for the opportunity to serve the district as the digital media and communications specialist. I feel like this position was made for me, and I'm very excited to work with all of you. Thank you to my amazing family for loving me unconditionally, Mom and Dad. You guys opened doors for me that most people do not have, and I'm very grateful. Thank you to my husband for listening with a smile as I explain the next crazy thing I want to do at work and cheering me on as I try. Thank you to the administrators that have helped me grow and saw potential in me. To to become an educational leader, Ms. Gates, Dr. Hale, Ms. Heck, Mr. Palmer, Mr. Chambers. I love learning from you each and every day, and I look forward to learning more from you and the senior staff at the district office. Finally, my Choctaw family, Ms. Savanchuk, who's not here, you're included in that, but thank you for being here for me during this step of my life. You've been present for so many big moments and that I've experienced. I've spent almost half of my life in that building, and I will miss seeing you guys every single day. I'm still here if you need tech support, Ms. Applegate. This school district has given me so much, and I can't wait to pay it forward as we take the next generation of Okaloosa schools to the next level. Thank you.
Congratulations again. Sure. Okay, so I know we're going to move to item 5.2, and the big green is going to stay in here, I can see, and I'm sure there's some others that will be coming in here shortly. So we're going to move to 5.2, appointment of Assistant Principal 1, 10-month for Choctawhatchee High School. Mr. Chambers?
Thank you, Mr. Bryant, School Board. I bring to you Ms. Jennifer Beasley. Ms. Beasley has spent 25 years in education in Marion County, Florida. She began her career at Dunellen High School, where she taught social studies. In 2006, she stepped away from the classroom and was appointed Assistant Principal of Discipline at Bellevue High School. She spent the next 7 years as an Assistant Principal of Discipline and Curriculum in Marion County. In 2013, she moved to Marion County School District Office, where she served as a coordinator in K-12 academic services and mentored new assistant principals. In 2014, Ms. Beasley was appointed principal of Liberty Middle School. 2 years later, she was appointed principal of Lake Wire High School. Most recently, she served as the principal of Marion Technical Institute. Ms. Beasley is blessed to have 5 children, 3 amazing grandchildren, and the support of her husband. She's excited for the opportunity to join the Okaloosa County School District and become part of the administrative team at Choctaw High School, and looks forward to continuing to grow as an educational leader, and is proud to be a big green Indian.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chambers. And with that, I need a motion to approve the appointment of Assistant Principal 1, 10-month, Choctawhatchee High School, Ms. Jennifer Beasley, as recommended by the superintendent for approval. Do I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Bryant.
Dr. White makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Congratulations, Ms. Beasley. The motion carries 4-0.
Thank you. I'd like to thank Mr. Chambers, board members, Mrs. Heck for giving me this awesome opportunity. I'm very excited to join the team here in Okaloosa County. The last 6 months have been a whirlwind for our family, and I couldn't have done it without the support of our children who are still in Marion County, our family here in Fort Walton Beach, and then the Choctawhatchee family who has welcomed us with open arms and has been very kind to us in this transition. I'm really excited, so thank you everyone, and go Big Green.
All right. Congratulations. I see you got your Thank you. All right. Congratulations. We appreciate it so much. Thank you. So board members, it's 6:11. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to do one more, so. All right, so now we'll move to item 5.3, and this will be the appointment of Assistant Principal to 10-month Ruckel Middle School. And Mr. Chambers, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Mr. Bryant School Board, I bring to you Miss Kayla Nutt. Kayla Nutt is a proud product of the Okaloosa County School District and is a graduate of Niceville High School. She played softball at Florida State University and Jacksonville State University, where she graduated with a bachelor's degree in elementary education. In 2019, Ms. Nutt earned a master's degree in education administration from California Coast University. In 2010, Ms. Nutt began her teaching career in Okaloosa County at Bob Sykes Elementary. After leaving to teach in Alabama for 4 years, she returned back to Okaloosa County in 2015 and has taught at Plu Elementary, Florosa Elementary, and Lewis School. Her most recent position was as the guidance counselor at Lewis School. Kayla is married to Ellis Nutt, a firefighter on Eglin Air Force Base. She has 3 children, Ryan, Davis, and Ava. Kayla is excited to join the Ruckel family and looks forward to serving her community that she calls home. Ms. Kayla Nutt.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers. And with that, I need a motion to approve the appointment of Assistant Principal to 10-month Ruckel Middle School, Ms. Kayla Nutt. Do I have a motion, please?
I'll make that motion, Chair.
Thank you. Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed? Congratulations, Ms. Nutt. The motion carries 4-0. Congrats.
Thank you, Mr. Chambers and board members, for your voting of confidence in me. I want to thank my family, especially my husband, Ellis, for the continuous support. Thank you to Mrs. Massey for encouraging me to begin this journey in educational leadership. Thank you, Dr. Driver, for being my mentor and always believing in me. Thank you, Dr. Hale, for your guidance in the Level 2 Principal Program. Thank you, Mr. Whitten and Mr. Smith, for the warm welcome at Ruckel. I am extremely excited to begin this next chapter and join the Ruckel family. I look forward to growing under the leadership of Mr. Whitten and serving the Ruckel community. Thank you.
Congratulations. Leave it open.
Yeah, come up, Dr. Driver.
Go see our stuff. What's that? Go see our stuff.
See what they can do for you.
This way, 1, 2, and 3.
Well, Mr. Chambers, that was perfect timing, because now we are at public hearing, and we're going to go ahead and start public hearing. And we'll start with item 17.1, public hearing for adoption of revised School Board Policy 01-29, public health emergencies, presented and recommended by the superintendent for approval. Is there anybody from the public here wishing to address item 17.1? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to approve item 17.1.
Move it.
Dr. White makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Dr. Kelly. Any other discussion? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries 4-0. So now we'll move to section 17.2, and this is the required local effort millage rate presented by Julie Perry, interim chief financial officer and budgeting of director, and recommended by the superintendent for approval. Mr. McInnes?
The required local effort millage includes prior period funding adjustment millage. The rate is 3.6950 mils.
Thank you, Mr. McInnes. Is there anybody here from the public wishing to address item 17.2? Okay, hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to approve.
I'll move it.
Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Garner. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And that motion passes 4-0. Kind of tongue-tied there all of a sudden. 17.3, basic discretionary operating millage rate presented by Julie Perry, interim chief financial officer, budgeting director, and recommended by the superintendent for approval. Mr. McInnes?
Basic discretionary millage, 0.7480 mils.
Okay. With that, I need a motion to approve item 17.3.
I'll move it.
Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Dr. White. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries 4-0. 17.4, capital outlay millage rate. Mr. McInnes?
Capital outlay millage rate, 1.5000 mils.
Is there anybody from the public here wishing to address item 17.4? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to approve item 17.4.
Move it.
Dr. White makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. 17.5, total millage levy. Mr. McInnes?
Total millage levy, 5.9430 mils.
Okay. Is there anybody from the public wishing to address item 17.5? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to approve.
I'll move it.
Ms. Gardner makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, Dr. White. All those in favor say, or any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. 17.6, Resolution 21-03, adopting the tentative millage rates for fiscal year 2021 through 2022. Mr. McInnes.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, this is the resolution adopting the rates you've just approved, and it's here for your consideration tonight after public hearing.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Is there anybody here to wish to address item 17.6? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to approve.
I'll move it.
Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Dr. White. Any discussion? Hearing none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And the motion carries 4-0. 17.7, Okaloosa County District Preliminary and Tentative Budget General Fund for fiscal year 2021 through 2022. Mr. McInnes?
The general fund budget proposed at $339,932,021.32.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody from the public wishing to address item 17.7? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to approve item 17.7.
Move it.
Ms. Garner makes a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Dr. White makes a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and the motion carries 4-0. 17.8, Okaloosa County School District Preliminary and Tentative Budget Special Revenue Funds Food Service for fiscal year 2021 through 2022. Mr. McInnes, sir?
Special revenue funds, food service, $20,058,596.30.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McInnes. Is there anybody from the public wishing to address item 17.8? Seeing and hearing none, I need a motion to approve.
I'll move 17.8.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. I need a second, please.
Second.
Second, Dr. White. Any discussion? Hearing none, I need all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 4-0. 17.9 is Okaloosa County School District Preliminary and Tentative Budget Special Revenue Funds Federal Programs for fiscal year 2021 through 2022. Mr. McGinnis?
Special Revenue Funds, Other Federal Program, $32,929,391.63.
Okay, thank you, sir. And with that, I need a motion to approve item 17.9.
I'll move it.
Ms. Garner makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Excuse me. Is there anybody from the public wishing to address that item? I'm getting ahead of myself. Hearing none, so now I need a motion to approve.
I'll move it.
Ms. Garner, Dr.
second.
Kelly, any other discussion? Hear none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And the motion carries 4-0. 17.10, Okaloosa County School District Preliminary and Tentative Budget Debt Service Fund for fiscal year 2021 through 2022. Mr. McGinnis?
Debt Service Fund, $3,828,265.40.
Okay. Is there anybody from the public wishing to address item 17.10? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to approve.
I'll move it.
Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Is there a second, please?
I'll second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries 4-0. Item 17.11, Okaloosa County School District Preliminary and Tentative Budget Capital Project Funds for fiscal year 2021 through 2022. Mr. McGinnis?
Capital Project Funds, $77,887,626.90.
Okay. Is there anybody from the public wishing to address item 17.11? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to approve item 17.11.
Move it.
Dr. White makes a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries 4-0. 17.12, Okaloosa County School District Preliminary and Tentative Budget for fiscal year 2021 through 2022. Mr. McGinnis?
Total district summary budget, $474,635,901.55.
Okay, thank you, sir. Is there anybody here from the public wishing to address item 17.12? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to approve item 17.12.
I'll move it.
Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And the motion carries 4-0. And finally, we're to 17.13 and Resolution 21-04 adopting the Okaloosa County School District Preliminary and Tentative Budget for fiscal year 2021 through 2022. Mr.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is Resolution 21-04, which adopts the Okaloosa County School District Preliminary and Tentative Budget for fiscal year 2021-2022, here for consideration by the board tonight after public comment.
Okay, thank you, Mr. McGinnis. Is there anybody from the public wishing to address item 17.13? Hearing and seeing none, I need a motion to approve.
Move it.
Ms. Garner makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Second, Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? Hear none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And the motion carries 4-0. So-
Chairman Bryant?
Yes.
Before you close this public hearing?
Yes.
I'd like to state what certainly all the board members know, and some folks know, that we spent considerable time deliberating this budget and considering all the various aspects of it, both at our workshop and even in a special budget workshop that we conducted afterwards. And that's why I think these items move so quickly.
Yes, sir.
But I just thought it would be important for the public to know that, and of course, as you know, Chairman, those videos are online and available 24/7 to the public.
Yes, sir. And I totally agree with you, Dr. White. It does make it easy when we are transparent and we show the public what is actually going on, and makes it easy when we come to public hearings tonight. So, all right, so now we'll move on back up to recognition, or appointments, I'm sorry. And we do have one more. And this will be item 5.4, appointment of assistant principal to 10-month Blue Water Elementary School. Mr. Chambers?
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. School Board, I bring to you Mr. Jeff Strumeyer. Mr. Strumeyer was born in Tucson, Arizona, and moved around quite a bit as part of a military family and ended up here in the Panhandle of Florida, where he was a freshman in high school. Later, he earned his bachelor's degree in elementary education from the University of West Florida. Mr. Strumeyer has been in education for the past 23 years, serving in Santa Rosa County for 19 of those years in many different capacities, such as reading, intervention, CTE coding, and 5th through 8th grade teaching. He received his bachelor's degree in educational leadership from Grand Canyon University in preparation for a move into administration, which is a passion for him. In 2018, Mr. Strumeyer came to Okaloosa County to pursue leadership, working at Pryor Middle School as an intensive reading teacher, then to Bruner as a social studies teacher and an inspiring administrator. In order to enrich his administrative development, Mr. Strumeyer has worked at Walker Elementary and briefly at Richburg, as well as Baker School, all as Dean of Students. Mr. Strumeyer and his wife Angie are proud parents of 3 children: Zach, who runs an online business; Sammy, a rising senior at UCF studying environmental science; and Chandler, a recent graduate set to attend Pensacola State College in the fall. He also has 2 grandchildren, Orion and Sawyer. Mr. Strumeyer is super excited about moving to Blue Water Elementary, where it already feels like home.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chambers. And with that, item 5.4 is the appointment of assistant principal to 10-month Blue Water Elementary School, Jeff Strumeyer. I need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion, Chair.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. And a second, please.
Second.
Second, Ms. Garner. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? All right, congratulations, Mr. Strumeyer. Motion passes 4-0.
Wow. I want to start off, I'm just humbled to be standing here before you, to be a leader in our county. School board, I just appreciate all of what you guys do for all of our schools and our students. Mr. Chambers, I can't express enough. We appreciate your leadership in our county. I appreciate all the things that you have done, guiding me in this direction, as well as Mr. Hale's mentorship as well. Since he's sitting back there, I can't look at him, but I know he's back there. And Mr. Chambers, I do want to let you know that the conversation that we had the other morning, that will be sitting in the forefront of my mind as I move forward on this journey at Blue Water Elementary. I'm super excited. I'm going to try to make this brief, but I do have a lot of thank yous and so on. I do want to thank Amy Clue, our principal at Blue Water. I feel like I'm Robin to her Batman already. We immediately hit it off right away. And, like you said before, Blue Water feels like home. And the support, as you can see behind me, those are our Blue Water staff and teachers back there. They're here to support me, and just even before I get there, they're already, they've already got my back. So I can't look at you, but thank you guys very much for being here. I do want to thank Mr. Mike Martello from Baker. He has been an amazing mentor. He has guided me through a lot of things that I would have never made it through without his mentorship. We've had many experiences together that will go down in the history books, I'll tell you that. And we have the dream team admin there, and I know he thinks that dean position is kind of a movement situation, but I'll tell you that is a place you want to be. That is a place you want to be. And I know Mr. Martello, he's going to miss me and miss my statements. And my favorite statement is every time he would bring up a date, I would always say, I wasn't born yet. So and I know he's going to miss that. Most of all, I do want to thank my family, my beautiful wife, Angie, who's standing back there with the flowers, and my oldest son, Zach. He's the tall one standing next to her. They have always been by my side. They have been the reason why I do what I do. They have always been my rock and reminded me to always lead by example. So I just can't express them enough. And I'm trying to get teary-eyed on them, but I love them very much. And lastly, I want you all to know, and everyone in this room here, that I promise to uphold the highest level of excellence that we hold true here in Okaloosa County. Thank you.
Congratulations. Let everybody get situated. All right. Again, always one of the my favorite parts of the meetings when we recognize promotions and seeing people who are going to lead us into the next generation of schools. So.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we are now to item 6, public comment. 6.1, members of the public desiring to address the school board, Form MIS 5241, public input and/or discussion of agenda items, and we had no blue cards that were turned in. So now we'll go to 7, which was a workshop only, and Section 8 is consent agenda. Item 8.1 will be
Mr.
the approval.
Chairman, we have a 7.3 tonight.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Sorry, Ms. Akers, that was me. So we do in 7.3, and I'd like to welcome Ms. Michelle Ankers up, and she's going to address the quarterly progress report of the Sales Tax Citizens Oversight Committee, and we are honored to have you here tonight, ma'am.
Thank you for allowing me to. I come here still in part on behalf of the business community who supported this half-cent sales tax because we believed in increased funding for infrastructure for public schools. And we wanted, if that was adopted, to bring the same accountability to the spending process that we believe we bring to our own business when it's our own dollars. And to track that accountability, we requested that you support the concept of non-elected members of the public reviewing the spending, the dollars coming in and the dollars going out, in some way that was organized and understandable. So Superintendent Chambers supported this concept, and you in turn did so by supporting and establishing as your first resolution of 2021, a resolution that created the Citizens Oversight Committee. And the role of that committee, pursuant to your resolution, is to ensure that the dollars from that half-cent sales tax are used in accord with the list that was identified in March of 2020 and that has been publicly available since March 2020. This committee is a way of bringing transparency and accountability to the use of those tax dollars. I've heard that word already tonight, transparency, and if I stayed a little longer, I'd probably hear accountability. Those are words that we use often now. But I do not want them, as much as I used them in the days leading up to that election, to become hollow words or to become buzzwords for government or for business. So I have been given some thought during my term as the chair of this committee as to what those words really mean if we give them some depth. To be accountable is really to be answerable, to be willing to provide information, to accept responsibility. To be transparent is to be open, to be ready to communicate straightforwardly, to provide ready access to information, and to operate in a way that is easy for others to see. With both transparency and accountability, we have a basis for trust. And as those of us who preached, like many of you did, in support of this half-cent sales tax, we must ask ourselves, has we delivered on what we said, which was that we would offer transparency? We are. And I have to ask myself, as you must ask yourselves, are we delivering on accountability? We are. How are we doing that? You've appointed a group of 9 people that are diverse both in their geographic representation of Okaloosa County and in the fields and industries they represent. They range from engineers to lawyers to bankers to realtors to technology developers. They are parents, they are volunteers, they are taxpayers. And in these different roles, we have met publicly every other month. Some of you have been to them, all of you in the public are invited to those meetings. And if you've come, you will have seen us struggle a little bit with who we are in that role and how do we go about accomplishing what we have set out to do and providing that transparency and accountability. There is no ready-made manual for how a public group of volunteers approaches this, but with the help of the staff and the consultants at Jacobs Titan, I believe that we have made some progress in understanding how we can deliver. We have asked hard questions. They have asked hard questions. I have been impressed with their tenacity, their refusal to just glaze over, and their willingness to engage, even in the very difficult concepts of public finance and infrastructure priorities. So once we have asked those hard questions, we then have some answers that we want to share. And that is coming in part through another delivery on a pledge that we made as volunteers during the campaign, and that is to create a dashboard, a system of information that is available to the public for free any time of day, 24/7, 365 days a year, to look at the information that shows how the dollars are coming in, when they're coming in, where they're going, how they are being used, and when they are being used. So with that and a little help from Mr. Horton, I'll show you an introduction to the dashboard. So you'll see on the screen behind you that this is an introduction to how the capital projects are being prioritized and how the money is being spent. So in the days ahead, we look forward to you, along with us, promoting this as a source of information that, again, delivers on exactly what is important to you and important to us as volunteers, and that is important to the public to understand, that there is information available, that it is transparent, and that they can see that it is you are all and we are all answerable to their question of how will the money be spent? How can we be sure that it is going to be spent on that which you promised? If you look at the dashboard, you can be sure. So we stand by to serve you, and more importantly, perhaps, and for certain, to serve the public, to provide assurance that their vote was well earned and that their half cent is well spent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we'll move to item section 8, the consent agenda, and now 8.1. I need approval of the consent agenda.
Move it.
Dr. White makes the motion. Do I have a second, please?
A second.
Second, Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 4-0. So now we'll go all the way down to section 9, and this will be superintendent's human resource recommendations. First two are information only, and so we'll start with 9.3, department staffing restructure. I need a motion to approve.
Move it.
Dr. White makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries 4-0. 9.4, master contract between the School Board of Okaloosa County and the Okaloosa County Education Association. Need a motion to approve.
I'll move it.
Dr. White, or Dr. Kelly makes the motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, Dr. White. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries 4-0. 9.5, addendum to the master contract between the School Board of Okaloosa County and the Okaloosa Education Staff Professionals. I need a motion to approve, please.
I'll move it.
So Dr. Kelly makes a motion, Dr. White makes the second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries 4-0. 9.6, cleared certification requirements and issuance of contracts for the 2021 through 2022 school year. I need a motion to approve, please.
I'll move it.
Ms. Gardner makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Second, Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries 4-0. 9.7, add a field report for the 2021 through 2022 school year. Need a motion to approve.
I'll move it.
Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and the motion carries 4-0. Employment separations, 9.8. I need a motion to approve, please.
I'll move it.
Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and the motion carries 4-0. 9.9, personnel recommendations. Need a motion to approve, please.
I'll move it.
Ms. Gardner makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Second, Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, the motion carries 4-0. 9.10, employee transfers. I need a motion to approve.
I'll move it.
Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Thank you, Dr. White. Second. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. 9.11, reinstatement, reimbursement of sick leave due to line of duty illness, injury, medical examination. I need a motion to approve, please.
I'll move it.
Ms. Gardner makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, Dr. White. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries 4-0. 9.12, leave without pay. Need a motion to approve, please.
I'll move it.
Dr. Kelly makes a motion. Do I have a second, please?
Second.
Second, Ms. Garner. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The motion carries 4-0. 9.3, proposed fiscal year 2021 through 2022 salary schedules for administrative, managerial, professional and technical, and temporary personnel. Do I have a motion to approve, please?
I'll move 9.13, Chairman.
Thank you, Dr. Kelly. I need a second, please.
Second.
Second, Ms. Garner. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? And the motion carries 4-0. Item 10, discussion agenda. There was no items moved from the consent agenda, so now we are to section 11, and this is construction program owners representatives business, and Dr. Kelly, you are up, ma'am.
Okay, we have already had our meeting for July, and we've already presented that report to you, my colleagues here on the board. Our next meeting will be August the 9th at 9:30, and I'll be able to give you a full and energizing report at that time. But I do want to pause here and take a minute to thank Michelle Ankers for always being available to us and to the public, and for her ever-present support of the sales tax initiative, both from the beginning and throughout our new history of this project. And I just want to say personally and professionally, Ms. Ankers, how much you are valued and appreciated. Thank you. Thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you.
And I totally agree with you, Dr. Kelly, that we are so thankful that Ms. Ankers did what was right, even when there was a time that we wondered if it was even going to pass. But she stood forward, and with her and her team, they did an awesome job to get this through, and we are going to deliver that half-cent sales tax to the citizens of Okaloosa County. And if y'all are aware, there was an email sent to y'all from Ms. Perry regarding the revenue from the half-cent sales tax, so hopefully y'all did get that. So, all right. So we do have two items to vote on tonight. 11.2, authorization for professional services agreement from Faithful and Gould for a price validation for program number 6, task order number 14, Fort Walton Beach High School Boys Fieldhouse Roof Project. I need a motion to approve, please.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Ms. Gardner. Do I have a second, please?
I'll second.
Second, Dr. Kelly. Any discussion? Hear none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries 4-0. 11.3, Program Number 6, Task Order Number 2, GMP District-Wide School Safety Security Upgrade Project, Phase 3 and final phase. And I need a motion to approve this tonight, please.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, thank you, Dr. White. Is there a second, please?
Second.
Second, Ms. Gardner. Any discussion?
Yes,
Dr.
sir.
White?
Thank you, Chairman Bryan.
Yes.
I think all of us have in front of us a letter from Faithful and Gould. I think it's addressed to Dr. Smith. And Dr. Smith, I wondered, we spoke about this briefly on Thursday about Faithful and Gould, but if you might, if the superintendent would concur, if you might come forward and just speak a little bit about this letter and what this means in terms of this $12 million project.
What you have in front of you is the validation letter that we receive on every task order we do. Faithful and Gould literally worked through the weekend to get this accomplished for us, so I could get it to you tonight, so we could go ahead and proceed with a letter to proceed tomorrow after the vote tonight. But this is a validation confirming the price in which Jacobs Titan has given to us is a good price and gives us the ability to go forward.
Outstanding. And so, in my layman's speak, what that means to me is that Faithful and Gould have said that our vendors' cost, the estimate they've given us, is within a reasonable amount of difference. Is that right?
That's correct. I think it was 5.62.
Maybe 4.7,
Yeah,
but that's
there you
close.
go.
All right, very good. Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Smith.
you.
Thank you, Superintendent. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. White. I'm glad you addressed that tonight. Okay, so we do have a motion and a second on the floor, and we had discussion. Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, and the motion carries 4-0. So we are to Section 12, Information Technology Seat Management Contract, and we have none. And we'll move to Mr. McInnes tonight, sir. Any business?
Mr. Chairman, two of the policies that are in draft form were approved by you tonight for public hearing, so we'll move forward with those in September. One of the policies we had intended to bring at the next meeting, because of some legislative changes, we're doing some redrafting, and so we may have to push that back by a month, but it still will be in line for adoption and revision this year, which is what your policy requires.
Okay, all right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And we are now to Section 14, Superintendent's Business, and 14.1, Out-of-State Student Trip Request, and 14.2. Mr. Chambers, you're up, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Bryan, School Board. As you know, on Thursday, we presented I'd say a wealth of information. So tonight I'll be brief, but I do want to say, especially with Ms. Ankers being here, when you look at 11.2 on the agenda, this is an item that prior to the half-cent sales tax, we would have piecemealed this. We would have put Band-Aids on it. And now, with the half-cent sales tax and the flexibility that it also provides us with our capital dollars, we're able to fix this the right way the first time. And then when you look at 11.3, whereas Dr. Smith said very well on Thursday, this would have taken a number of years, but this will be done next year due to the blessing of the half-cent sales tax. And I too want to say to Ms. Ankers how grateful we are of everything that happened prior to the half-cent sales tax and your continued dedication and commitment to the school district. And I love what you said in terms of transparency and accountability, and that's what we're about. So just appreciate it very much.
All right. Mr. Chambers, anything else?
That is it.
All right, thank you, sir. And we'll now move to Section 15, Board Members' Announcements and Requests for Information. And the Honorable Dr. White, I'll start with you tonight, sir.
All right, thank you, Chairman. Well, I too would like to express appreciation to Ms. Ankers and everything that she did, and there's no question that she's a success in everything she does. In fact, in this case, she succeeded where others have failed more than once. And so thank you for that, Ms. Ankers. Good job. Just the last thing I'd like to say, Chairman, is appreciation to Ms. Perry for her good work and providing us all of those budget materials and everything that you put together for us in the workshop. It was very, very helpful and helped us navigate a rather lengthy and complex process. And we're very appreciative to you and your staff, and certainly to the rest of the district staff for working so cooperatively with you in that endeavor. Thank you, Ms. Perry. That's all.
All right, thank you, Dr. White. And my Vice Chair, the Honorable Dr. Kelly.
Thank you. Well, I had a lot of congratulations and a lot of thank yous at the board workshop, so I won't repeat all of those, but I will say again a couple of thank yous. As you know, one of my most passionate efforts is for teen mental health, and one of those initiatives being the Hope Squad. So a thank you and a shout out again to Bit Wizards for giving a nice donation to that program, the Hope Squad, to our school district. Thank you to the Okaloosa County Board of County Commissioners for including the school district in their fiber optics network project through their CARES Act dollars. And then some reminders of dates. Our students go back 2 weeks from today, so right absolutely around the corner. It just seems like we just dismissed a few days ago, and I know that the principals and teachers feel that way even more than we do sitting here. I know that this weekend we have the Stuff the Bus on Saturday from 9 to 1 at all of our area Walmart. So if you want to get out and participate, bring school supplies and donations to any Walmart where you see our bus out there, and we would greatly appreciate those initiatives. Don't forget that the sales tax holiday starts this weekend, and it's been extended for 10 days, so it goes through August the 9th. So sales tax holiday. And as I said earlier, our next Citizens Sales Tax Advisory Committee meets August the 31st, 4 p.m. here. And lastly, just a reminder, don't forget my request for information, consideration of a switchboard operator, and maybe the tidal wave online library that we can do for our students and our schools across this district. And one other thing, I think now maybe after tonight we've got all of our school-based people placed, if we could remember our new contact update list for us, it's very helpful and most appreciated. Right. Thank you so much.
Yes. And I thank you for that. And also updating the websites, because I did go on a couple of school websites that still had administrators from previous years so on there. So if we can get the schools to update that too. And so we'll move over to the Honorable Ms. Marty Gardner.
I would just also like to extend my appreciation to Ms. Akers for everything that you have done to have this approved, the half-cent sales tax, and also the following through. And one of the task orders projects is the 11.3, and I think our parents will be excited to know that is our final phase 3 for security of our schools, and that's really important. That I think Mr. Chambers mentioned earlier that might have possibly been extended for several years, but due to the half-cent sales tax and again everybody's support on this, we're able to finish up that security. And I think Dr. Kelly, you kind of mentioned the back to school, and our instructional staff will start the end of this week. And even though we had a short summer, it's been exciting to see as you ride past the schools. We already have teachers out there that are getting back. They're excited. Again, with that short notice or short summer, they are back at work. So it's going to be an exciting year coming up, and we're looking forward to it.
I totally agree. It is going to be exciting. So I do have a few comments tonight. And first of all, I'd like to recognize one of our valuable employees within the school district. And this is Mr. James Watulich, and he actually works under Eric Mitchell. He's one of our couriers, but the other night I got screenshotted a thing that James did, and it says that Mr. Watulich was driving by, and he noticed that a family had a flat tire, and the lady mentioned that he got out, helped them change the tire, and helped them get on their way, and she was so very much appreciative that she put it all over Facebook. And so I would just like to say thank you to Mr. Watulich for all he does and all of our employees. I'm sure there's many stories like that out there. Today I had the opportunity to visit 10 of the 11 schools that I represent, and I happen to be at Northwood, and I want to shout out to Miss Rhonda Piaget, who's one of the teachers there, and they are doing something called Cougar Camp. And Paul, I don't know if you can see that, but I got a little drawing here, a little coloring thing from one of the students, and the Cougar Camp is actually for kindergarten and first graders, and these are students who, they're kind of get them acclimated to how school is going to work. And I thought it was a great program. I think Miss Piaget was I know she was really excited about it. And just to see the little kindergartners and first graders today at Cougar Camp at Northwood Elementary, and I know Dr. Good and Miss Williams were very much supportive of this project. And then also Ms. Perry, I know your office is busy the next couple of weeks with all of our schools. The bookkeepers having to go through audits, and I know 4 of them were done today, and we got, 2 weeks to go to get them all done. But to all of our bookkeepers out there, I know I put this on Facebook today, but all of our bookkeepers out there, they are the heartbeat of the school. Everything has to go through the bookkeeper. And I know all of you that have worked in the schools, they can be your best friend, or they can make life interesting for you. But to all of our bookkeepers out there, we are so much very appreciative. And I too echo Ms. Perry, how much we appreciate you and your team have done to get ready for these audits. And I can tell you, the 4 that I talked to, I talked to all of our bookkeepers in District 4 today. So the ones that hadn't done it yet, they're waiting their turn. But the 4 that had it done today, I can tell you they all breathed a sigh of relief, and I think they all told me it was good to be first to get it done. So. All right, so now we'll move to item 16, and this is public comment 16.1. This is the 2-minute version of public comment. Members of the public desiring to address the school board, Form MIS 5241, public input and/or discussion of agenda items. And again, we had no blue cards, so we'll go around the room. Ms. Perry, anything that you'd like? Dr. Hale? Mr. Strong? Ms. Appleberg? Mr. Horton? All right, this meeting's adjourned.